One kiss. That's all it took to flip my whole world upside down. I'm talking about the kind of kiss you don't come back from, the kind that burns bridges you didn't even know you were standing on. His name? Dante Moretti. Yeah, that Moretti. Head of the most ruthless crew in Southern California. And me? I'm Avery Sterling, daughter of Judge Marcus Sterling, the man who's been trying to take Dante down for the last 5 years. So when I locked lips with him at that underground poker game in West Hollywood, I wasn't just playing with fire. I was throwing gasoline on it. But here's the kicker. Someone saw us. Someone who knows exactly what that kiss means. And now there's a secret out there, one that could destroy my dad's career, shatter Dante's empire, and bury me somewhere between the two. I keep asking myself, what if that one moment of weakness becomes the thing that starts a war neither of us can survive? What if trusting the wrong person at the wrong time means losing everything you ever believed you were? Because right now, I'm pretty sure I just handed someone the knife to gut me with. And listen, if you're still here after that, it means you feel this twist in your chest the same way I do. So before I pull you deeper into what really happened after that kiss, do me one thing, hit that like button and subscribe. Not for numbers, but because stories like this, they only get told when people like you stick around. When you subscribe, you're basically stepping into the room with me, saying, yeah, I want to know how far this goes. And trust me, after the move I made that night, things get darker, messier, and a whole lot more dangerous. So tap subscribe, drop a like, and stay close. You're gonna need front row access for what comes next. When a forbidden kiss turns deadly, you don't just watch this kind of story unfold from the sidelines. You're already in it. Because deep down, you know what it feels like to trust someone who could ruin you without even trying. To want something so bad it makes you stupid. To cross a line you swore you'd never touch. That kiss with Dante wasn't just reckless. It was a death sentence wrapped in leather and cigarette smoke. And now someone knows. Someone who moves in the shadows, who whispers in the right ears, who plays both sides like it's a game. I don't know who yet, but I can feel them watching, waiting. And the worst part? Dante's acting like nothing happened. Like we didn't just risk everything for 30 seconds of heat and hunger in a room full of criminals. But I see it in his eyes when he looks at me now. Something shifted. Something cracked open. And once you let that kind of darkness in, it doesn't just leave. It stays. It grows. It swallows you whole. So yeah, you're gonna want to stay for this one. Because what's coming next? It cuts way deeper than you think. Let me take you back to where this whole mess started. 3 months ago. Santa Monica Pier. I was there with my best friend Riley, pretending to be normal, pretending I wasn't suffocating under the weight of being Marcus Sterling's perfect daughter. You know the type. Straight A's at UCLA, internship at a law firm downtown, Sunday brunches in Malibu, charity galas where everyone smiles with their teeth but not their eyes. That was my life. Clean. Controlled. Boring as hell. But that night, Riley dragged me to this underground poker game in West Hollywood. She knew a guy who knew a guy, and honestly, I needed the escape. Needed to feel something that wasn't scripted by my dad's reputation. The place was dim, smelled like expensive cologne and bad decisions. And that's when I saw him. Dante Moretti. Sitting at the center table like he owned the room, because, let's be real, he probably did. Dark hair slicked back, sharp jawline, eyes that could read you like a book you didn't even know you wrote. He was wearing this black button-up, sleeves rolled to his elbows, and when he looked up at me, I swear the whole room went quiet. Not actually. But in my head, dead silent. Riley whispered, "That's him. The guy my cousin warned me about. Stay away from him, Avenue." But you know what they say about warnings, right? They just make you more curious. I should have listened. I should have turned around and walked straight out. But instead I sat down at his table. Told myself it was just a game. Just cards. Just one night of being someone else. Dante didn't say much at first, just watched me with this smirk that made my skin prickle. And when I won the first hand, he leaned back in his chair and said, "Beginner's luck, or you actually know what you're doing?" His voice was low, smooth, with that Cali edge that sounds lazy but isn't. I shot back, "Maybe I'm just better than you think." Big mistake. Because that's when he started paying attention. Really paying attention. We played for 2 hours. I lost some, won some, but the whole time it felt like we were playing a completely different game. Every glance, every word, every time his hand brushed mine when he dealt the cards, it was loaded. Dangerous. And I loved it. I hated that I loved it, but I did. When the game ended, he stood up, buttoned his jacket, and said, "You've got guts, Sterling. Most people don't sit at my table twice." He knew. He knew who I was the whole time. And he still let me play. That should have been the end of it. But 2 weeks later I ran into him again. This time at a gallery opening in Venice Beach. My dad had sent me there to network, to smile and shake hands with donors and politicians. And there he was, leaning against a wall, looking at some abstract painting like it actually meant something to him. When our eyes met, he didn't look surprised. He looked amused, like he'd been expecting me. I tried to play it cool, but my heart was pounding so hard I thought he could hear it. He walked over, hands in his pockets, and said, "Funny seeing you here. Didn't peg you for the art type." I crossed my arms. "Didn't peg you for it either." He laughed, this low, quiet sound that made my stomach flip. "I'm full of surprises, Avery." The way he said my name, like he'd been thinking about it, like he'd been thinking about me. We talked for 20 minutes. About nothing. About everything. About how fake these events were, how everyone wore masks, how exhausting it was to be someone you're not. And for the first time in my life, I felt like someone actually saw me. Not Judge Sterling's daughter. Not the perfect law student. Just me. But here's the thing about Dante Moretti. He's not just some guy. He runs one of the most dangerous operations in Southern California. Drugs, illegal gambling, arms deals, you name it. My dad has an entire task force trying to bring him down. And me? I was standing there, laughing with him like we were just two normal people at a normal party. It was so wrong. So stupid. So intoxicating. Over the next few weeks, we kept running into each other. Coffee shop in Silver Lake. Farmer's market in Los Feliz. A late-night diner in Hollywood. At first, I thought it was coincidence. But then I realized he was orchestrating it. Finding me. Testing me. Seeing if I'd run or if I'd stay. And I stayed. God help me, I stayed. We talked for hours. About his life, my life, the lies we told ourselves to get through the day. He never hid what he was. Never pretended to be a good guy. And I think that's what hooked me. He was real. Brutal. Honest in a way no one in my world ever was. But I also saw the other side. The side he didn't show most people. The way he checked on his crew, made sure their families were taken care of. The way he talked about his sister, who died when he was 17. The way his hands shook just a little when he lit a cigarette after a hard conversation. He wasn't just a monster. He was human. And that made everything so much worse. Then came the night of the kiss. It was late, almost 2 a.m. I just finished a brutal study session and couldn't sleep, so I drove out to the beach. And there he was, sitting on the hood of his car, staring at the ocean like it owed him answers. I should have kept driving. But I didn't. I parked next to him, got out, and sat beside him without saying a word. We stayed like that for a while. Just existing. Then he turned to me and said, "You know this can't go anywhere, right?" I nodded. "I know. Your dad would lose his mind." "I know. My crew would think I'm losing my edge." "I know." He looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "So why are you still here?" And I didn't have an answer. Or maybe I did, but I was too scared to say it out loud. So instead I kissed him. Pulled him close and kissed him like I was drowning and he was air. And he kissed me back, hard, desperate, like he'd been holding back for weeks and finally couldn't anymore. It lasted maybe 30 seconds. But it was enough. Enough to change everything. Enough to set off a chain reaction neither of us could stop. When we pulled apart, he rested his forehead against mine and whispered, "We're so screwed." I laughed even though it wasn't funny. Yeah, we really are. But we didn't care. Not in that moment. Not when the world felt like it was ours just for a little while. What we didn't know, what we couldn't have known, was that someone was watching. Someone who saw everything. And they were already planning how to use it. The first sign that something was wrong came 3 days later. I was sitting in my constitutional law class, half listening to Professor Hendricks drone on about judicial oversight, when my phone buzzed. A known number. I almost ignored it. Spam calls were constant in LA, but something made me check. It was a photo. Just one. Black and white, grainy but clear enough. Me and Dante. On the beach. Kissing. My blood went ice cold. My hands started shaking so bad I had to grip the edge of my desk to steady myself. No message. No demands. Just the photo. A warning shot. Someone wanted me to know they had it. That they could do whatever they wanted with it. I shoved my phone in my bag, grabbed my stuff, and bolted out of the lecture hall. I didn't even care that people were staring. I needed air. I needed to think. I needed to figure out who the hell was playing me like this. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, just breathing, trying not to spiral. But my mind was racing. Who saw us? Who would care enough to take a photo? And why send it to me now, days later? What were they waiting for? I thought about calling Dante, but I didn't even have his real number. Just a burner he'd given me, and he told me to only use it in emergencies. Was this an emergency? Hell yes. But something stopped me. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was fear. Or maybe I just didn't want to admit that I'd dragged him into something that could get us both killed. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at that photo, zooming in, trying to find some clue, a reflection, a shadow, anything that could tell me who took it. But there was nothing. Just me and Dante locked in a moment that was supposed to be ours, now weaponized. Around 1 a.m. my phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. This time it was a text. Cute couple. Does daddy know? My stomach dropped. Whoever this was, they weren't just messing around. They were going straight for the jugular. I typed back, hands trembling, "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, "Someone who's been watching you longer than you think." I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Wanted to scream. But I forced myself to stay calm, to think like my dad taught me, analytically, strategically. This person wanted something. People don't just send threatening texts for fun. They want leverage, money, power, revenge. I needed to figure out which one. I typed again, "What do you want?" This time the response came fast. "Nothing yet. But when I do, you'll know." Then silence. No more texts. No more photos. Just that lingering threat hanging over me like a noose. The next day I broke. I called the burner number Dante gave me. He picked up on the second ring, voice low and guarded. "This better be important." "Someone knows," I said, my voice barely holding together. "Someone saw us. They sent me a photo." Long pause. I could hear him breathing, could almost feel the tension crackling through the line. "Where are you?" "Home. My apartment." "Stay there. Don't talk to anyone. I'm sending someone." "Dante, I don't need Avery." His voice cut through my panic like a knife. "Sure. Steady. Stay. There." He hung up. 20 minutes later, there was a knock at my door. I checked the peephole and saw a woman, late 20s, leather jacket, dark hair pulled into a tight ponytail. She looked like she could kill me with her pinky and not break a sweat. I opened the door a crack. "Who are you?" "Name's Kira. Dante sent me." "You gonna let me in, or you wanna have this conversation in the hallway?" I stepped aside. She walked in, scanned my apartment like she was cataloging exits, then turned to me. "Show me the photo." I handed her my phone. She studied it for a long moment, then looked up. "You got any enemies?" "Not that I know of." "What about your dad?" I blinked. "What about him?" "He's a judge. High-profile cases, dirty cops, mobsters. You think someone might want to use you to get to him?" I hadn't thought of that. I'd been so focused on the kiss, on Dante, that I didn't consider I might be collateral damage in someone else's war. Kira sat down on my couch, still holding my phone. "This photo wasn't taken by some random bystander. Look at the angle. The zoom. This is professional. Someone was tracking you." "Why?" "That's what we're gonna find out." She handed my phone back. "In the meantime, you don't go anywhere alone. You don't talk to anyone you don't trust. And you definitely don't respond to any more texts from that number. I can't just sit here and wait. You can, and you will. Because if you make a move right now, you're gonna tip off whoever's watching. And trust me, you don't want that." She stood up, headed for the door, then paused. "One more thing. Dante told me to tell you something." "What?" "That he's handling it. And that you should stay away from him until this blows over." My chest tightened. "He said that?" "Yeah, he did." She left without another word, and I was alone again. But this time the silence felt heavier. More suffocating. Because now I knew, this wasn't just about a kiss. This was about power. Control. Survival. And someone out there was playing a game I didn't even know the rules to. Over the next few days I tried to act normal. Went to class. Smiled at my dad over breakfast. Pretended everything was fine. But inside I was unraveling. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart stopped. Every time I saw a black car parked too long outside my building, I wondered if it was them. Whoever they were. Then, 5 days after the first text, I got another one. Same number. But this time it wasn't a threat. It was an address. A warehouse in Vernon, east of downtown. And below it, one line, "Come alone. Midnight. Or everyone sees the photo." My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped my phone. This was it. The moment I'd been dreading. The demand. But what did they want? Money? Information? My dad's cases? Or something worse? I knew I should tell someone. Kira, Dante, my dad, anyone. But the text was clear. Come alone. And if I didn't, that photo would go public. My dad's career would implode. Dante's empire would be exposed. And me? I'd be caught in the crossfire, torn apart by two worlds I never should have tried to bridge. So I made a choice. A stupid, reckless, dangerous choice. I was going to that warehouse. Alone. At midnight. And I was going to find out exactly who was trying to destroy my life. And before I tell you what really happened when I walked into that warehouse alone, let me ask you something. 'Cause real talk, I need to know I'm not the only one losing my mind here. If you were in my place, would you go? Like seriously? Would you walk into a midnight trap just to protect the two people who could destroy you? Drop it in the comments. Tell me yes, no, or hell no, I'd be gone by sunrise. I'm reading everything and I want to see how many of you would have made the same stupid move I did. Alright, ready? Because what happened next? It changes everything. I parked 2 blocks away from the warehouse, killed the engine and just sat there for a minute trying to calm my breathing. Vernon at midnight wasn't the kind of place you wanted to be alone. Industrial wasteland, abandoned factories, shadows that moved when they shouldn't. But I didn't have a choice. Or at least that's what I kept telling myself. I checked my phone one last time. No new messages. No backup plan. Just me walking into what could very easily be a trap. I grabbed the pepper spray from my glove compartment, like that was gonna do anything, and got out of the car. The air smelled like rust and gasoline. The only sounds were distant traffic on the 710 and my own footsteps echoing off cracked pavement. The warehouse loomed ahead, a hulking shadow against the night sky. Most of the windows were busted out, and the metal siding was tagged with graffiti I couldn't read in the dark. The big rolling door was open just enough for someone to slip through. I stopped at the entrance, every instinct screaming at me to turn around. But I thought about that photo. About my dad's face if it went public. About Dante's world collapsing. About my own life burning to the ground. So I stepped inside. It was darker than I expected. My eyes struggled to adjust, and for a few terrifying seconds I couldn't see anything. Then a light flickered on, a single bulb hanging from a chain in the center of the space, swaying slightly, casting long shadows across the concrete floor. And standing beneath it, arms crossed, smiling like he'd just won the lottery, was someone I never expected to see. Ryan Castellano. My ex-boyfriend. The guy I dated sophomore year before I realized he was controlling, manipulative, and had a mean streak a mile wide. The guy I broke up with in a very public, very messy fight outside a frat party in Westwood. The guy who told me I'd regret leaving him. I thought he was just talking trash. Turns out he meant it. "Hey Ave," he said, voice dripping with fake warmth. "Long time no see." My blood turned to ice. "Ryan? What the hell is this?" He took a step forward, hands in his pockets, that same smug grin plastered on his face. "What, no hug? We used to be close, remember?" "Cut the crap. You're the one who's been threatening me?" He shrugged. "Threatening's a strong word. I prefer motivating." "What? What do you want from me?" Ryan circled me slowly, like a predator sizing up prey. "You know, after you dumped me I was pretty messed up. Embarrassed. Everyone on campus talking about how Avery Sterling was too good for me. How I wasn't good enough for Judge Sterling's perfect little daughter." He stopped, looked me dead in the eye. That hurt, Avenue really hurt. I clenched my fist. "So this is what, revenge? You've been stalking me for 2 years because I broke up with you?" "Not stalking. Watching. There's a difference." He pulled out his phone, tapped the screen and turned it toward me. It was a whole folder of photos. Me at coffee shops. Me at the library. Me with Riley. Me with Dante. Dozens of them. Months worth. My stomach twisted. "You're insane." "I'm patient," he corrected. "And lucky. Because when I saw you cozying up to Dante Moretti, the same guy your dad's been trying to take down, I knew I'd hit the jackpot." He put his phone away, grinned wider. "Do you have any idea what that photo is worth? What people would pay to see Judge Marcus Sterling's daughter hooking up with the head of a crime family?" I felt like I was gonna be sick. "What do you want, Ryan?" "Oh, now we're getting somewhere." He pulled out a chair. Where the hell did that come from? And sat down, leaning back like we were just having a casual chat. "Here's the deal. Your dad's got a case coming up. Big one. Racketeering charges against some of Moretti's crew. I want you to get me information. Case files. Evidence. Anything that could help Moretti's people get ahead of it." I stared at him, stunned. "You want me to steal from my own father? To help criminals? I want you to make a choice. Help me out and that photo stays buried. Refuse and it goes everywhere. Your dad's career? Done. Your reputation? Destroyed. And Dante? Well, let's just say the feds would love to know he's getting cozy with a judge's daughter. They'd use it against him in ways you can't even imagine." My mind was racing. This wasn't just about a kiss anymore. Ryan was trying to turn me into a traitor. A spy. A weapon against my own family. I won't do it. Ryan sighed like he was disappointed. I really hoped you'd be smarter than this, Avenue. He stood up, pulled out his phone again, and his thumb hovered over the screen. Last chance. Help me or I send this photo to every news outlet in California. Timsy. The Times. Hell, I'll send it to your dad's email just for fun. Tears stung my eyes, but I blinked them back. I wasn't gonna give him the satisfaction. Send it? He blinked. What? You heard me. Send it? Because I'm not doing this. I'm not betraying my dad. I'm not betraying Dante. And I sure as hell am not letting you control me. Ryan's face darkened. The smug grin vanished, replaced by something colder. Meaner. You're making a huge mistake. Maybe. But it's my mistake to make. For a long moment we just stared at each other. Then he laughed, this hollow bitter sound that echoed through the empty warehouse. You think you're so brave, don't you? So righteous. But you're just a scared little girl playing dress up in a world you don't understand. He stepped closer and I instinctively stepped back. Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna send that photo. And when your life falls apart, when your dad looks at you like you're a stranger, when Dante realizes you're more trouble than you're worth, you're gonna remember this moment. You're gonna remember that you had a chance to fix it and you chose pride instead. He turned and started walking toward the back of the warehouse, toward a door I hadn't noticed before. But then he stopped, glanced over his shoulder. Oh, and one more thing. That photo? It's not the only card I'm holding. My heart sank. What are you talking about? Ryan smiled, cold, cruel, triumphant. You really think I've just been watching you? I've been watching him too. And trust me, Avery, Dante Moretti's got way more to hide than a kiss. Then he was gone. The door slammed shut and I was alone in that warehouse, shaking, tears finally breaking free, the weight of everything crashing down on me all at once. Because I just made an enemy who knew too much, who had too much power, and who wasn't gonna stop until he destroyed everything I cared about. I stumbled out of the warehouse, got back to my car, and just sat there for I don't know how long. My phone was in my hand and I knew I should call someone. Dante, Kira, my dad, anyone. But I couldn't move. Couldn't think. All I could hear was Ryan's voice echoing in my head. Dante Moretti's got way more to hide than a kiss. What did that mean? What else did Ryan know? And how deep did this nightmare go? I finally pulled myself together enough to drive home. But the whole way I kept checking my mirrors, waiting for that photo to drop. Waiting for my phone to explode with calls and texts and the beginning of the end. It didn't come that night. Or the next day. But I knew it was coming. Ryan was just making me wait. Making me suffer. And the worst part? I had no idea what Dante was hiding. No idea what Ryan had on him. No idea if I'd just lost the only two men I'd ever trusted. All because of one forbidden kiss. One moment of weakness. One choice that changed everything. I didn't hear from Ryan for 3 days. 3 days of walking around like a ghost, jumping every time my phone buzzed, barely sleeping, barely eating. My dad asked me twice if I was okay and I lied straight to his face both times. Told him I was stressed about finals. He bought it, or at least he pretended to. But I could see the concern in his eyes. The doubt. Like some part of him already knew I was hiding something. On the 4th day, I finally broke down and called the burner number. Dante picked up on the first ring. I told you not to contact me. His voice was sharp, clipped. Different from the guy I'd kissed on the beach. This was the other Dante. The one who ran an empire built on fear and blood. I know, but nothing, Avery. You need to stay away from me right now. It's not safe. It's too late for that. I heard him exhale slowly, like he was trying to keep his temper in check. What happened? So I told him. Everything. The warehouse. Ryan. The threats. The demand for information. And what Ryan said at the end, that Dante had more to hide than just a kiss. Silence. Long, heavy silence that made my chest tighten. Dante. Where are you right now? My apartment. Why? Lock your doors. Don't let anyone in. I'm coming over. Dante, you can't just... The line went dead. He showed up 40 minutes later. I heard the knock, 3 quick raps, and checked the peephole. It was him. Alone. No Kira, no crew, just Dante in a black jacket and jeans, looking like he hadn't slept in days either. I opened the door and he walked in without waiting for an invitation, scanning my apartment the same way Kira had. Then he turned to me, and for the first time since I'd met him, I saw something I'd never seen before in his eyes. Fear. Not for himself. For me. Ryan Castellano, he said, voice low. Tell me everything you know about him. I wrapped my arms around myself, suddenly cold, We dated for a few months sophomore year. He was possessive, jealous. I broke up with him and he didn't take it well. But you never thought he'd come back. Dante ran a hand through his hair, paced to the window, looked out like he was expecting someone. Did he ever mention any connections? Family and politics, law enforcement, organized crime? I shook my head. No. He was just a business major from Orange County. Why? Dante turned back to me, jaw tight. Because Ryan Castellano isn't just some scorned ex with a camera phone. His uncle is Vincent Castellano. You know that name? My blood went cold. Everyone in California knew that name. Vincent Castellano was a defense attorney, one of the best in the state. He'd gotten mobsters, corrupt cops, and white-collar criminals off on technicalities for decades. He was untouchable. And ruthless. Oh my God. Yeah. Dante moved closer, his voice dropping. Ryan's been playing you from the start, Avery. This isn't about revenge. This is about leverage. His uncle's been trying to get dirt on your father for years. And now, thanks to us, he's got it. I felt like the walls were closing in. So what do we do? Dante looked at me for a long moment and I could see him weighing options, calculating risks, doing whatever mental math you do when your world's about to explode. There's only one way out of this. What? I turned myself in. I blinked. What? No. Dante, you can't. Listen to me. He grabbed my shoulders, forced me to look at him. If I go to the feds, cooperate, give them what they want, your dad stays clean. You stay clean. And Ryan loses his leverage because the photo doesn't matter anymore. I'm already done. Tears blurred my vision. That's not a solution, that's suicide. They'll lock you up for life. Maybe. But you'll be safe. I don't want safe if it means losing you. The words came out before I could stop them, raw and desperate and true. And for a second, just a second, Dante's hard exterior cracked. He pulled me into his chest, held me tight, and I felt his heart pounding just as fast as mine. This is my fault, he murmured into my hair. I should have stayed away from you. Should have known better. Don't. I pulled back, looked up at him. Don't act like I didn't make my own choices. I wanted this. I wanted you. And I'd do it again. He cupped my face in his hands, eyes searching mine. You don't know what you're saying. Yes, I do. And then he kissed me. Not like the first time, not desperate or hungry or reckless. This was different. Softer. Sadder. Like goodbye. When he pulled away, he rested his forehead against mine. I need to tell you something. And you're not gonna like it. My stomach dropped. What? Ryan was right. I am hiding something. Something big. What is it? He stepped back, put distance between us, and I could see him building walls in real time. 2 years ago, before your dad's task force really came after me, I made a deal. With someone inside the DA's office. Someone who's been feeding me information on investigations, helping me stay ahead of the law. I felt sick. Who? Dante looked me dead in the eye. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is this. If Ryan knows about it, if he has proof, it's not just me who goes down. It's your dad's entire operation. Years of cases thrown out. Dirty cops and criminals walking free. And your father? He'd be finished. Disgraced. Maybe even charged as an accessory if they spin it right. The room spun. I grabbed the edge of the couch to steady myself. You're telling me that if this comes out, my dad loses everything? Even though he didn't do anything wrong? Yeah. That's exactly what I'm telling you. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. This wasn't just about a kiss anymore. This wasn't even just about me and Dante. This was about corruption, betrayal, entire systems collapsing. And I was stuck right in the middle of it. So what do we do? I whispered. Dante's phone buzzed. He looked at it and his face went hard. We're out of time. What? Why? He showed me the screen. It was a text from an unknown number, but I knew who it was. Ryan. And all it said was, check the news. I grabbed my laptop, pulled up the LA Times homepage, and my heart stopped. The headline, breaking just minutes ago, Judge Sterling's daughter linked to mob boss, exclusive photo. Below it, the photo. Me and Dante. On the beach. Kissing. And the article was already going viral. My hands were shaking so bad I couldn't even scroll. Dante's phone started ringing. Then mine. Then his again. Texts, calls, notifications flooding in like a tsunami. My dad. Riley. Unknown numbers. News outlets. Everyone. It's over, I breathed. It's done. Ryan did it. Dante grabbed my hand, pulled me to my feet. No. It's not over. Not yet. What are you talking about? The photo's out there. Everyone knows. My dad, your dad doesn't matter right now. What matters is getting you somewhere safe before Vincent Castellano and his people make their next move. Next move? What next move? Dante's eyes were dark, fierce, protective. You think Ryan released that photo just for fun? This is step one. He's forcing your dad's hand, forcing him to recuse himself from my case. And once he does, Vincent steps in as my attorney. And then? He owns me. He owns you. He owns this entire situation. A cold realization washed over me. He's not trying to destroy us. He's trying to control us. Exactly. There was a knock at the door. 3 sharp raps. Dante went still, hand moving to his waistband where I knew he kept a gun. You expecting anyone? I shook my head. Another knock. Harder this time. Then a voice, calm, smooth, terrifyingly polite. Miss Sterling? My name is Vincent Castellano. I believe we need to talk. Dante and I locked eyes. And in that moment, I knew. This wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. Because the man on the other side of that door? He wasn't here to negotiate. He was here to collect. And whatever came next was going to be worse than anything Ryan had put us through. So much worse. Dante moved toward the door, hand still on his gun. I grabbed his arm. Don't. I have to. Dante, he looked back at me one last time. Stay behind me. No matter what happens, you stay behind me. Then he opened the door. And Vincent Castellano stepped inside. 50-something, silver hair, expensive suit, smile that didn't reach his eyes. He looked at me first, then at Dante, then back at me. Miss Sterling. Mr. Moretti. I apologize for the intrusion, but I'm afraid we're all running out of time. He walked past us into my apartment like he owned it, hands clasped behind his back. You see, my nephew made a mess. A very public, very inconvenient mess. And now we're all going to have to clean it up together. Dante's voice was ice. Get to the point. Vincent turned, that same cold smile in place. The point, Mr. Moretti, is that you have 2 choices. You can cooperate with me, let me represent you, and we'll make all of this go away. The photo, the scandal, the investigations, all of it. And if I don't? Then I release the rest. My blood turned to ice. The rest. Vincent's eyes slid to me. Oh, you didn't tell her? About the recordings? The documents? The evidence my nephew's been collecting for months that proves you've had someone inside the DA's office feeding you information? Itzket shook his head. Mr. Moretti, you've been very sloppy. And now, unfortunately, Miss Sterling's father is going to pay the price. Unless, of course, you do exactly what I say. Dante looked like he was about to put a bullet in Vincent's skull. But he didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stood there trapped. And so was I. Trapped by a kiss. Trapped by a secret. Trapped by a man who held all the cards and knew exactly how to play them. Vincent checked his watch. I'll give you both 24 hours to think it over. After that, everything goes public. And trust me, what's out there now? That's nothing compared to what's coming. He walked to the door, paused, looked back. Oh, and Miss Sterling? You might want to call your father. I imagine he's going to need you. Then he was gone. And the silence that followed was deafening. I looked at Dante. He looked at me. And neither of us said a word. Because we both knew. We'd lost. Ryan had won. Vincent had won. And whatever came next, it was going to destroy us both. There's another part waiting for you. And if you stop now, you'll miss the one thing that explains everything. The thing that changes the entire game. Stay.